Live from the South Gym on the campus of Darien High School, it's Varsity Wrestling on the DAF Media Network this afternoon. It's the Darien Blue Wave against the Fairfield Ludlowe Falcons in a dual meet here in Darien, Connecticut.
Yeah,
Darien
definitely going to place highly in the FCIAC and state tournament. It's going to be a tough test for our freshman. As you see, he took a great shot there, coming in real deep. Good control. Working his half Nelson there, trying to work for the pin.
James Kennedy plays soccer in the fall, rather new to wrestling.
Yes.
Darien head coach Greg Lewis doing a good job on the recruiting trail, Joe, as he tries to bring in more wrestlers to the program and build it.
From different sports, and James's energy and athleticism is, once he really gets a few more practices under his belt, he's going to be something special, I think. You know, he's raw now, he's new, so he's still figuring it out and getting his feet underneath him.
Trying to avoid the pin here in the opening period.
Cradled up here, he's got to try and extend his leg and try and break Yuri's grip here. It's the only way, and there we see the pin.
So Yuri Case wins by pin.
Like I said, Yuri's a talented wrestler. I think he's a senior now.
And we're going to take another look here.
Oh, that's just a tight cradle. Great head position on that, and he really squeezed in tight. You know, that's hard to get out of. If you want to break that grip, you really need to extend your body. And here we see James's twin brother. This is Matthew Kennedy.
At 126, Matthew Kennedy wrestling Ryan Flora of Fairfield Ludlowe. Darien in the black singlets. Matthew Kennedy in the black singlet.
Again, another newer wrestler coming from a soccer background. And again, he just has this high energy. Now that's a great headlock there by Ludlowe. But we see Matthew is really fighting hard, maintaining a strong base. He doesn't want to get turned. There's that cradle again. When you crunch up, you got to expect it. Very nice, finding the leg there. There it is. He just forced his head down to get that cradle. That's clearly what they're looking for. Now he's got his bottom knee in his hip, and he's bringing him right back. But with his shoulders not on the mat, we're not getting any pin there. And we go out of bounds.
We're in the first period here of this match between Matthew Kennedy of Darien.
Darien is down 2-0 from the takedown. So Ludlowe has 2 points. So what Matthew really wants to work on here is he wants to try and secure his opponent's wrist, and he wants to get up and away. To escape from your opponent, you can score 1 point, which will bring him right back into this match.
And now, Joe, when we have a moment here, just explain to our viewers the 4 ways you can win a match.
Yes, so we have the 4 different ways. You can win by pinfall, which we just saw. You can win by a major decision or a regular decision, and that's like winning by points. And the final way you can win is called a technical decision. And that's if your opponent goes up by more than 15 points, the match ends. Oh, that's a fantastic half Nelson he ran there. Matthew would have wanted to bridge out of that. But he had really locked that up tight. He was squeezing that head there.
So Ryan Flora at 126 wins.
Taking home the pin.
By pin, as we take another look at the pin here.
Again, that's just a great half, and he's locked around his hip as well. He's really, that's hard to get out of. Here we have Savion Razor.
Taking on Antonio Nicholas of Fairfield Ludlowe at 132.
He wrestled for a little bit with the Stanford Youth Program, and I believe he's a football player. He has a kind of an innate skill, kind of a bit of an instinct for wrestling. That was just a great snap down. Now he's looking for the cradle again. That seems to be their go-to pinning combination, but Saban's doing a great job of extending. He let his head go down. What the ref is counting there are called back points, and you can score even if you don't get the pin. So it should be 5-0. They got a takedown and 3 back points there. Now we see he's locked that up, and Savion extended to break the grip. Ooh.
5-0. Antonio Nicholas
that
head on
move
points.
called the butcher, we call that one. You get 2 hands on one arm, and once you squeeze that tight and you're on your back, that is not somewhere you want to be.
And so, Antonio Nicholas pins Savion Razor at 132 in the first period.
Again, we just saw 3 of our 5 new freshmen this year. You know, they're getting their feet under them. It's a learning process, especially with wrestling. It's a tough sport to really just walk into with no background. But we're very proud of the way they've been wrestling. They wrestle hard every match, and there really is no fear from them. So we can't ask for more.
And Alexander Moore of Fairfield Ludlowe wins by forfeit at 138. Here we are at 145 now. Mark Roble of Fairfield Ludlowe taking on Darien's Cole Conway. Conway in the black singlet.
We are, we're excited about all of our freshmen, but Cole has a great background coming from boxing. He has a nice, natural kind of crossover between his 2 sports, wrestling and boxing. He's really just trying to figure out the different wrestling moves, but he's a tough wrestler. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, Coach Greg Lewis of Darien said Cole keeps the upperclassmen on their toes during practice.
Yes, he does. He is not afraid of anyone. Bigger, smaller, older, younger. Cole is not afraid.
You mentioned the boxing background, perhaps an MMA career in his future.
I think I would not be surprised if I found out Cole decided to pursue MMA. As you can see, he's a tough kid. He doesn't give points up easily. He doesn't give up easily.
Roble up 2-0 here.
2-0. So every time you take your opponent down, which means you get them down onto the mat and have control of their hips, that's when you score 2 for a takedown. What we're looking for from our guys here is really to stand up, and he wants to break that grip and get away. And that'll score him 1 point for an escape.
And we are still in the first
just under
period
a minute.
Here. Yep. Again, this is Darien's Cole Conway and Ludlow's Mark Roble at 145.
Doing a great job here wrestling. He's staying strong. He's keeping his head up. I mean, he's making Roble work for all of the points he's scoring. Now, this is called those near fall points I was talking about. So Cole's shoulder isn't quite on the mat, so he's not going to get a pin here, but Ludlow is scoring here, Roble. That's locked up tight. Again, we see another half Nelson. You know, once you lock that half Nelson up tight, that's usually done.
So, Roble.
Getting to another of our freshmen here. We're a big-time freshman team this year. We've really brought in a lot of guys from other sports. Arthur Devilers here at 152. He's going to wrestle Sean Zimmerman, and he comes from a hockey background. He's still competing in. He goes to hockey tournaments on weekends, and he goes right from wrestling practice to hockey practice. He's an athletic kid. Again, we're excited about it, just to watch him develop and see how he grows.
Coach Lewis says he's a really tough kid, and probably there's that hockey background.
Oh, yes.
That.
I think so. Him and Cole are probably our toughest 2 freshmen. And, you know, once they really figure out the wrestling movements, I think they're going to be something special to watch.
Well, Joe, can't thank you enough for hopping on this broadcast as you have done for our wrestling broadcast. You bring a wealth of knowledge.
Always have a good time with these. I always do.
To our viewers.
So the ref just stopped it there with what's called a technical violation with locking hands. So our wrestler, Arthur, just scored 1 point because when you're on top as a wrestler, you can't lock your hands around their waist.
So it's 2-1. Zimmerman leads De Villers here in the
first period. Just about 1:10 to go in this first period. He's crunching up there, Arthur. See, we want to avoid when they seem to be locking the cradle up a lot tonight, and it's because when our wrestler brings their head to their knee, they're asking for it. Now we see that half Nelson. That was just a great chain wrestling move there from Ludlowe, going from his cradle to a half Nelson pin.
So Zimmerman pins De Villers late in the first period at 1:52 as we take another look at this. We've got just an instant replay for you this year, Joe.
This is great, and what a half that is. And you can really see he was squeezing. You can tell by his face that he was really putting some effort into it. Here we have our first returning wrestler, Nick Richie. He's a senior this year. He's been wrestling with us for 4 years, and he wrestled in my youth program for another year before that. He's got some experience to him, and he's a strong wrestler. He's wrestling here Will Mears at the 160-pound weight class.
And Richie has wrestled all 4 years here at Darien High School. He's a senior wrestling at 160, as you mentioned, taking on Will Mears in the gray
all 4
singlet.
years on our varsity team. So, you know, he's really got a lot of mat time and experience. He's one of those guys in the room that really helps bring our freshmen along, because he understands the sport and how it works. Great takedown there. Great defense and takedown. So what Nick's doing here is his opponent hung his head over, and he's trying to pull that head to put his opponent right to the back. Now we're in a bit of a scramble. No one has control here. And that scramble did not go Nick's way. Now he's going to have to really fight. What we want is for him to bridge. He knows to get his feet down in the mat and bridge up. Just a great arch. Just not enough.
But he's able to pin him. So Mears defeats Richie at 160 via the pin. As we take another look at this, as you said, he was able to bridge up.
Oh, and he was just getting up on that second bridge. Now, the pin is only 2 seconds with your shoulders on the mat, so you don't really have too long. You need to really work quickly to defend those pins.
Now, here's Tripp Murphy of Darien taking on Nicky Leonardis at 170. Murphy has, it's kind of his return to wrestling. He's been out injured the last 2 seasons. But he has wrestled in the past, obviously.
Oh, he's had quite the journey. He, in middle school, wrestled for GFA, Greens Farms Academy, and I believe 7th grade he won the Connecticut States. Then he went out to New Jersey to wrestle at a school called Blair, and he got injured and decided he wanted to return home to see if he could bring home another state championship in his last year. He's a good wrestler. He's a smart wrestler. The injury last year, he's been working back his stamina slowly, and each match you can see he is getting much more comfortable and right back to where he started. Excellent defense here. He's stopping the shots with his shoulders and his head, staying away. Oh, what a shot. Coming in deep on that single leg. He's working to step over the hips to knock his opponent right onto his butt. And he scores 2 points there with that takedown.
So Murphy is up 2-0 on Leonardis here in the first period.
Right on the edge. What he wants to do is bring him back into this gray circle just like that. You can see he's doing everything I'm saying we want him to do. He's a smart wrestler. He's an instinctive wrestler. And he really understands the sport. Gives up an escape there, but a great stop on the reshot. So it should be 2-1 now with that escape. Controlling the head, keeping it buried. He's not giving his opponent any room to really breathe.
Murphy
straightening his leg there. Just a wonderful job of defense, grabbing the ankle, cross-facing. If he can free his leg, he can score, and there's the period.
So it's our first
multi-period,
multi-period
first
match
multi-period match
of this dual meet between Darien and Fairfield Ludlowe. Damian Andrew alongside Joe Testa, our DAF media production crew. Our director is Braden Schenk, and our camera operator is Jack Cunningham.
I'll tell you, they're doing a wonderful job. This is what a setup you guys have.
all high school volunteers with DAF Media, which is a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. So here we are in the second period. Tripp Murphy, Nicky Leonardis at 170.
Ooh, another good shot after that quick escape. Now Tripp is really settling in on these attacks. He gets in deep, covers the hips, and knocks his opponent down. What he really wants to do is then climb the body from there. Oh, dangerous, dangerous. He gave his opponent head control. Great bridge, so that would be a takedown. And we see Tripp is another guy who can really bridge. You know, he can really get up off of those shoulders.
And right now it's 4-2. Leonardis ahead on points here in the second period as Murphy tries to avoid a pin.
He's fighting hard. He's making it look easy, but it is not. Oh, what a battle here. His shoulders just off of the mat. And we see his opponent is kind of blocking that shoulder with his arm under. Now he's freed the arm. Oh,
and
just
Murphy
not enough left at the end there.
Pinned in the second period, was ahead on points after the first period.
Yeah, he gave up head control there on his takedown. And here we see he's really adjusting that arm and moving his own. Tripp's bridging hard there, but unfortunately it was too little, too late. So we have Ethan Schrader here going out for a forfeit at 182.
So Ethan Schrader of Darien has his arm raised by the official, goes over and shakes the hand of Fairfield Ludlowe first-year head coach Mike Jacobs, who wrestled collegiately down at Westchester University outside of Philadelphia. And of course, as you can see,
now we have
Coach Jacobs.
Now we have Jimmy Netter. Oh, and they forfeited. Now this is an interesting bit of strategy, right? They may have bumped around to avoid the matchup there, or they might have been throwing a freshman out and not wanted him to go against our junior captain. An interesting bit of strategy there. So now we have
there's Mike Jacobs.
The final Kennedy. Jack Kennedy, this is the older brother of the two twins that just wrestled. Now, normally he wrestles 195, but with our injuries tonight, he's bumping up for us to 220.
So this is Jack Kennedy of Darien taking on Ryan Chan of Fairfield Ludlowe at 220. And we are underway here in the first period. Kennedy in the black singlet and Chan in the blue and white singlet.
This should be an interesting match. You know, Jack, he's given up a little bit of weight. He's wrestling outside of his weight class, but you can see he's fighting hard. He's not giving up easy moves, and he's defending what his opponent's throwing at him. I'm excited for this one. I hope Jack does well here. Ooh, that's a good takedown there for Ludlowe. But we see again, Jack's not just resting down there. He's moving and he's moving.
Jack Kennedy, junior captain. As we mentioned, his younger brothers, twin brothers, have joined the Darien High School varsity wrestling program.
Yeah, we're excited about them. You know, they used to come to the matches when Jack was a freshman and a sophomore, and in between matches, they would jump out on the mat and start wrestling. So, you know, the whole Kennedy family, I think, is...
Coach Lewis calls him a happy kid who's always smiling and always laughing at practice, always learning.
Always, and always willing to learn. You know, he doesn't... And there's his escape right there. So we're at 2-1. That's a hard-fought escape when you're giving up 15 pounds, 20 pounds to somebody.
Ryan Chan of Fairfield Ludlowe taking on Jack Kennedy of Darien at 220. Damian Andrew alongside Joe Testa. As always, great to have Joe Testa with us. Just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to wrestling.
All right, and we're into the second period here.
End of the first period.
So what's happening when the ref is pointing to his wristbands is each wrestler gets, or each team gets choice for certain matches. In this situation, Darien has choice on the even matches, whereas Ludlowe gets choice on the odd matches. So they get to choose whether they want to start bottom, top, or neutral. What Jack wants to do here is break his opponent flat and then start working on a pinning combination like those cradles or half that we've been seeing from Ludlowe. We've given up the escape there. It brings us to 3-1.
3-1. Ryan Chan extends his lead over Jack Kennedy here in the second period of this
with
match.
A quick takedown to follow it, bringing us to 5-1. And that is usually the strategy in having your wrestler choose bottom, and that they can score 3 points quickly if they can stand up and escape fast. Again, he's looking for one of those cradles. He's trying to bring Jack's head all the way down to his knee. Not a fun position to be caught in. He's working for that half Nelson. Jack's doing a really good job of defending these moves, but Ryan's doing a great job of chaining them together and going from one move to the next when it doesn't work. Hopefully we get an escape here from Jack. There it is. That's going to bring him to 5-2. And a quick takedown, bringing us to 5-4.
5-4 now. 5-4. Chan over Kennedy.
Here's Jack working in his half. He wants to find a wrist and come all the way out to the side. He doesn't want to be on top.
As we are approaching the end of the second period, it looks, Joe, like this will go to a third and final period here.
There's the whistle.
Kennedy and Chan.
This is a great match for Jack. Again, he's wrestling up by about 20 pounds. That's going to put anyone outside of their comfort zone. And you know, he's doing a really good job of staying with him. Now he chooses bottom in the third period, looking for that 1 point escape to tie this match up.
So the third period underway here. We are live on the DAF Media Network from the South Gym inside Darien High School. Darien taking on Fairfield Ludlowe. Dual meet here in the FCIAC.
Oh, there's a power half. Oh, and he switches right away. So what Jack would want to do here is get a fresh start by going out of bounds, just like that. His moves weren't working. His opponent was maintaining control. So Jack, his best option was to start fresh from the center circle again.
And that stops the clock in the third period here. And they go back to the center of the mat. And Chan has the option.
Yes. He starts on top. He can choose an optional start there where he lets Jack go. But in this case, Ryan really wants to hold him down. Giving up 1 point will tie this match and send it to overtime. And after 6 minutes of wrestling, the last thing you want is to go to overtime. A good stand here, though. Oh, almost a reversal there from Jack. See him bringing his hips up. Jack never stays flat for too long. That's what really makes him a good wrestler. There's his escape to tie this match up. Shooting for that quick shot. He wants to really push the tempo now. If he can score quickly, just like that, there's his 2.
So it's 7-5 now. Kennedy leads Ryan Chan here.
About 20 seconds left, and you can see that these two competitors, they're exhausted. It takes a lot of effort to wrestle these full 6-minute matches. And I give Jack a lot of credit here, wrestling up and going the full distance.
So Kennedy and Chan go the distance here.
Wow.
And Jack Kennedy with a come-from-behind win at 220.
Just a great match from Jack all around. You know, he was tough. He didn't get down or take himself out of the match when his opponent went up quickly in the second period. He maintained composure and he kept wrestling. Now we have our final weight class of the night. This is the 285 or the heavyweights. We forfeit this one. This is Dominic Caban from Ludlowe. Will get his hand raised in forfeit. This is the one weight class we have been trying to fill for a couple years now.
285.
That's a tough one to fill.
Yeah.
You know, we'd love to get a couple of these offensive or defensive linemen to come out here and really, you know.
And we're going to have a couple of additional matches here, I believe.
Yes, these are going to be JV matches.
Yep.
So these won't count for their varsity record for seeding for the tournaments at the end. But it's extra mat time, and it's a way to get some of our freshmen more time out on the mat, which is really what it takes to improve.
Fairfield Ludlowe is going to win.
Yes, and let me think about this final score.
This match, or this meet, I should say. We will bring you the official word here in just a moment.
Okay, so the final score of our varsity match is going to be 66 for Ludlowe, 15 from Darien. And our first JV match here, we have Andrew Passaretti from Darien. And I am not 100% on
Ian Jameson.
Ian Jameson, yes.
Ian Jameson, and this is at 152.
Both freshmen, and I'll tell you, Drew has a nice talent base because he wrestled in my youth program since he was in 4th grade. So he's had 5 years of wrestling before even setting foot on a high school mat. He comes away with the pin there. We're excited about him. He's gotten a couple varsity wins for us as a freshman, which is not an easy task.
So Drew Passaretti wins at 152. Again, this is considered a JV match and does not count
toward our varsity score.
Toward the overall varsity score.
I believe we'll have one more.
And as you can see at the bottom of your screen now, Ludlowe did win the dual meet 66-15, as Joe just alluded to moments ago.
So yeah, each of those 4 ways of winning we talked about has a different team point associated with it. Winning by a pin is going to score your team 6 points. A decision, like we saw in Jack Kennedy's match, is going to score your team 3 points. A major decision will be 4 points, and a technical fall is going to be 5 points. Here we see Cole Conway is coming out again.
Cole Conway will wrestle for Darien, and he will take on Ryan Zeller. And this is at 131, Joe Testa.
Yes, so with JV, sometimes there's a little bit of a weight difference, but after Cole having wrestled a match for varsity, he's going to be a little tired now. Great shot from Ludlowe there. Cole's defending it well, but he wants to straighten his leg and get it out from underneath his opponent. Ooh, not quite.
And again, this is Ryan Zeller of Fairfield Ludlowe, and
he's working hard.
Cole Conway of Darien.
Working that half Nelson, and he's got it in deep. His elbows all the way to Cole's armpit. Cole's really got a bridge here. That's the one thing we want to work on with him, is digging his feet in and really getting up on his head. Oh, but avoiding the pin. For now. There it is. So Ryan Zeller comes away with the pin.
So Zeller beats Conway. Conway still with a smile on his face. As you mentioned, he wrestled in this varsity meet this afternoon. And
you know, the good thing about these freshmen is that they really do come with a lot of energy. They have athletic backgrounds, and they don't let 1 or 2 losses get them down. You know, they're always going to come back, and they're always going to be smiling, which is a good sign.
Absolutely, and certainly we did a broadcast, you and I, 2 years ago.
Yes.
There were 4 matches, and it took about 15 minutes. And in talking to Coach Lewis the other day, he is really building this program.
You know, by leaps and bounds, we have built this program, and we're trying to do it from both the top down and the bottom up. I run the youth program in town, and I've had a couple of my youth wrestlers come out to the team. That's provided us a nice little boost. And Coach Lewis is the assistant varsity lacrosse coach, so he tries to bring in those lacrosse athletes, trying to get both high school kids and the youth kids involved. And that's how we're gonna build the team. But it took us 4 years. We've got a full team now, and we are very excited about the future. We're mostly freshmen, so really the only way to go is up.
Earlier this season, Darien picking up its first win in 4 years over St. Joe's.
Yes.
So you know, you need one
to build it.
To build it.
And you know, that was a great day. That was me and Coach Lewis's first varsity team win, and we came within 1 match of beating Wilton that night too. So, you know, we've really shown a lot of improvement over the years. And really a lot of that credit goes to the kids for sticking with it and going out and finding the off-season clubs. You know, I'd love to toot my own horn and say it's all me and Coach Lewis, but the kids put in most of the work.
Joe, it has been a pleasure as
always.
Always
A pleasure,
I'm looking forward to this. We connected about a month ago, and
I always love doing this.
Put this in our calendar. We'll do some more wrestling on the DAF Media Network. I want to thank Coach Joe Testa for hopping aboard. I want to give a shout out to our entire DAF Media production crew, Braden Schenk, our director, and our camera operator this afternoon, Jack Cunningham, did a tremendous job bringing you all the sights and sounds of this one. So for Joe Testa, I am Damian Andrew. This has been a presentation of the DAF Media Network, a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Once again, Fairfield Ludlowe beats Darien in a dual meet here inside the South Gym on the campus of Darien High School. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take care.